Hello and welcome to Cygnus Alpha Down and Safe. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the one, the only, Mr. Brian Croucher.
So the fiver did it?
Yeah.
Great intro.
Well, actually, Brian, it's really you who we've got to thank for this, because you rang me a few weeks ago out of the blue. I think your exact words were, Kubiak, I thought I'd ring you because I can always annoy you on the phone. Yeah. And we had a long chat then. And then I said, let's do a Zoom chat. And you said, yeah, let's do that. And then you said, well, why don't we do something for the Blake 7 fans? So, and that's what we've been doing. So I've got all these videos coming out today. So really, it's your baby as much as my baby. We've got a baby together, Brian.
Oh, lovely. Okay, baby, fire away. Now, I know you want to ask me intimate questions like my inside leg measurement.
Well, I don't need to know that again because I already know.
What kind of toilet paper do I use? Pardon?
Okay, what sort of toilet paper do you use?
Only white toilet paper.
Okay,
That's
all right.
Not me being racist, but just white.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm a very ordinary, basic boy.
Okay. I'm going to have some coffee. I've got a coffee on the go.
I've just had some parsnip soup.
Parsnip soup. I like broccoli. Stilton and broccoli soup. That's nice.
Yeah, pea and ham.
Well, you should know all about ham.
Oh, come on. I thought we were friends.
And hanging up now. But how have you been anyway? How have you been coping with the lockdown that we've been in? What you've been up to?
It's very difficult to do anything, really, isn't it? I mean, all our lives are shrunk.
Yeah.
Everything has just gone, we can't do this, we can't do that. In my blog today, I've written about deadlines. The only deadline we've got is death.
Yeah. What's the old saying?
What?
What's the old saying? There's only two certainties in life: death and taxes.
Death and taxes. Yeah, you're right there. Yeah. So everything shrunk. You can't do this. You can't do that. So it's a great awakener, actually, as to what we were doing and how much freedom and liberty we did have and how much is suggested, because it's not law. You can go and visit people. You can if you want. You're not breaking the law, really, are you?
The police can't enforce it, but they can fine you for certain things. It's all down to area by area, and then if you talk about what's right in Scotland, doesn't necessarily apply in England, and the same in Wales.
But if I wanted to go into my neighbour for a kiss and cuddle, nobody could stop me.
Your wife could.
She could. She's upstairs. She wouldn't know. I mean, I am lucky. I could turn the computer around and show you what I've got outside. But I mean, I live in a little village. And nothing much happens here. Nothing, we've got green fields and far away and, to walk. And we don't meet very many people, so we're not in contact with very many people. So it's not a problem for us.
No, so you're quite lucky in that respect.
Oh, very much so. I mean,
But you are still a working actor. I mean, I'm sure you had projects on the go slightly just before lockdown. I mean, what do you think will happen to you the other side of this? Do you think the way that you work as an actor is going to change, or there will be no work? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that there won't be any work till next year. In fact, I was talking to a director, Darren, yesterday, just after I spoke to you. I had a long chat with him, and he has been developing this film for 6 years about a young couple. There's a lot of music involved and one thing and another. And he's invested a lot of money and got a lot of money, but he can't do anything until he says until it's clear. and that will be next year. And of course, films that rely, it's not so bad if you've got a film that's got a lot of interiors, but
Yeah.
there's light and continuity with light. So if you shot some scenes one year and shot them at different times, there's all that to be considered. Also, I mean, the black side of it is you can be halfway working on a film, and then one of the actors could die from the plague, couldn't they?
Yeah.
You'd have to shoot a lot of stuff again. So there's a lot of complications. And rom-coms are out of the out of the question, aren't they? All that kissing and cuddling.
Yeah. But that's the story of your life anyway, so that's fine.
What, kissing and cuddling?
Yeah, out to the window.
Out of the window, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I've got that film that we were going to shoot this year. I haven't got a major part in it, but play the manager of the band. Another film I was about to shoot for a graduate down at the Bournemouth Film School, his graduate film. His father's a friend of mine, so he asked me to work on it with him. We got that in the week of shutdown. We were about to shoot it that weekend. But in lockdown, I've got a couple of young actors locally, that we've worked on a little short story for when we can do it. I just don't know. It's a very, very perilous time that we all live in. There are theatres, as you most probably know. We were talking the other day. Southampton, Nuffield,
excuse me,
the Folkestone Leys Theatre down here. They're very teetering on the. Well, I mean, even in the newspapers, the Globe. Yeah, it's not funded by government or anything, just by charities and stuff. That's on the edge.
Yeah.
So
you had mentioned that you were looking to setting up your own home audio recording studio to do sort of like voiceover work and radio acting and things like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been out of contact with the Voice Over the World. Voice over the world. My voice all over the world. Can you hear me? Australia, come in, please. Voice. I've been out of contact with the voiceover world, and for a while, and you have to have an agent.
Yeah.
And I'm in the process of trying to convince somebody that my voice is a voice that will sell a million cans of baked beans. But. I won't buy all the microphones and stuff till I get somebody to get me some work. There's no having the stuff if you can't get any work. So and I guess every actor and his wife are trying to get voiceover work on radio.
Absolutely,
can be done from home.
So we're here to talk about Blake 7.
Oh, can we remember?
Wow, I think we can if we try really, really hard.
Well, cue me in.
Okay, but I want to go a slightly different way. I want to talk about Blake 7 fandom.
All right.
Okay, so you've done many events over the years. You've been nice enough to attend several of mine over the last couple of years. What is it that you get out of meeting the fans?
For the most part, I've never met an unfriendly fan. And that makes an awful lot of difference in one's life.
Yeah.
Meeting friendly people. It's very easy to meet nasty people, of which there are a few. But fandom and going to conventions, it's always it's like another family. You all know each other, and you know us through our work, and our work brings you all together. Things. Multi-viewpoint is a good thing. Is a big thing in my thought process. It's when you're watching something, you see something that I haven't given, and you might see something, and your mate John or your mate Harry might say, "Oh no, didn't you see so and so and so and so?" There's a multi viewpoint on everything,
Yeah.
and usually somebody, some of the fans are a bit timid. They just want your autograph and say thank you, and they scuttle away.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what they're frightened of. You know,
your performance, surely.
Really, yeah. Well, it's all fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all fantasy. Acting is fantasy. We're not real people when we're on the telly. We're not ourselves. No. We are someone else. So when I am at a convention, I am not Travis. I am Brian.
That's true.
You know that Brian is a good old cove. He's a good chap. He likes to laugh.
That's one description for him.
Oh, we're back to multi-viewpoint.
Yeah.
So Ian, how would you describe me then, Ian?
In all honesty, not just because we're chatting here, I think that you are one of the most down-to-earth actors I've ever met. What you see is what you get. There's no prima donna. There's no sort of, ego going on. There's no list of demands. Although, when you're demanding for a limousine, that's a little bit too much, actually.
No, I only go as far as a large glass of white wine.
A very large glass or a bottle, yes.
Well, it does help because we get nervous when we come to conventions. We don't know who we're going to meet and what they're going to ask for. But for the most part, we know it's a photograph and an autograph and a shake of the hand and a photograph and how are you and where do you come from? Peterborough. Oh, yes, I remember Peterborough, but I can't tell you anything about it.
I don't know if you remember. You did. You were one of the guests for the 2018 40th anniversary event, which myself and friends put together.
Is that the one at Brentford?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Do you remember the reaction you got when going up onto stage?
Oh, you always remark about that, but I mean, it's just how I felt that day, and I thought, well, I'll give them a bit of Travis, and give them the old V sign, and yeah, get out of it, shut up, yeah, all that.
Yeah,
and they loved it.
Yeah,
apparently.
It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious.
I came from a different direction. You see,
you did. You entered from the rear, shall we say?
Say no more.
Indeed,
we never talked about Travis's sexuality ever.
Well, let's talk about that. What would Travis's sexuality be?
Anything that moved.
Is that Travis or Brian?
No, that's Travis.
That's Travis. That's definitely Travis. Okay. Do you know? I'm sure there's lots of fans now getting ideas to write fan stories.
Yeah, no, I don't like moving target. Brian doesn't like a moving target. Travis did.
But Travis did, right? Okay. Yeah. Now we all, all Blake Seven fans know that you were the second actor to take on the role. We they've heard the stories about how you got the part, but were you disappointed that it came to an end when it did, or would have you liked to have carried on?
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed, but with life and being an actor and acting and being on television, it's a job. It is to do with life. It's like being a bricklayer. When you finish laying all the bricks to a house, it ends.
Yeah.
But in a brick, as far as a bricklayer is concerned, it ends because they haven't got any more money and the house is half built. Because in terms of Travis, the show went on. So I would have liked to have stayed on and had another go at another season. But I to be quite truthful, I found it very difficult. Kitchen sink drama, is much easier to play. Realism is much easier to play, but sci-fi fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
I found it difficult. I
Yeah.
really did. I tried my best, and I think my best was sort of good enough. It was good. It wasn't very good or excellent, and you don't have to say, "Oh, yes, it was," because the Panto season is not upon us yet. Oh no, it was, and I did find it difficult. But then again, how can I explain it? There wasn't a lot that you could hang on to reality.
Yeah.
Because we all know, we've all seen astronauts up there in their suits and nothing much to do, no restaurants to go to,
Well, a bit like now.
Yeah, no seaside to sit. Well, you can sit. I sat by the seaside yesterday, but all you've got are the friends you've got up there. But then they're always attending to something, switching some dials and pressing some buttons. And all you've got is the new sensation of floating about. Although for the previous 2 years, I'm sure that the floating about meter or the thing that they float about in, they've been doing that. So it's not new to them. But I mean, what I'm saying is it's a very experience going up in space but then again, it's about the future. So it's not rockets and spaceships can be completely different in 2071. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I did find that aspect of it a little bit.
Did you find it difficult as well because you were, taking over an established part, but you made it your own? You definitely made the part your own. You didn't go to try and copy anything.
That didn't worry me at all. It doesn't worry me at all. What can I say? The job's there, and you do the job. And one wasn't asked to copy or to
mimic
or copy what went before with Stephen. No. It was just it was all about good and evil mainly, and it wasn't about sitting in your kitchen making a cup of tea thinking, shall I go to Sainsbury's this morning or this afternoon? And I better phone that guy up who's going to come and put the shelves up. And oh my God, there's that bloke again mowing his lawn. Shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's none of that. It's all about me. There's Blake. I've got to get him. Oh, excuse me. I did swear then. That was me and not Travis. No, but look out! Here comes Blake and Travis. Get out of my spaceship and all that. It was very difficult to hang oneself on it and make it and try to make it real.
But in terms of the performance and as it comes across on the screen, it works. It really does work.
Oh, thank you very much, Ian.
That's £10 you owe me. Before Blake 7, you had an experience of sci-fi in Doctor Who. You were in Robots of Death.
I was indeed, yes.
Only in the first episode, wasn't it, of Robots of Death? Because you got killed off.
Yeah, I was discussing actually with Darren, my director of this film I spoke about earlier. He's a very keen sci-fi person, and he told me that he read about Robots of Death, and the director was
Michael E. Bryant, yeah.
And I didn't realise because space travel was all sort of very boring and suits and blah, blah, blah. So he tried to jolly it all up and give us lovely costumes and makeup, and he was trying to make the robots more attractive. And then I thought, yes, well, in the future, when robots are around more and human beings are interacting with them, then they would be acquainted with each other more, and not so they would look like they looked, but a bit more attractive. Life would have moved on. So and so it was to make the robots and the people on the Minesweeper or whatever it was more interactive. Before one robot goes and one of us goes, So
and then also after Blake 7, you had another sort of stint at Sci-fi at Shakedown, Return of the Sontarans. Do you remember doing that?
Oh, Sontarans, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember yesterday. And I was saying, you need a screwdriver, but it's only Sontarans that take the screwdriver.
Yeah, at the back of the neck.
Yeah, but I was saying, if I'd have had a screwdriver in Robots of Death, maybe I could have done a Sontaran on
maybe. But,
yes, we did that, and that was a very interesting experience, because most of the people that were working on that with Kevin Davis,
Kevin John David,
they were all great fans of sci-fi.
All Doctor Who fans and Blake 7 fans,
and they were all working on it because they enjoyed sci-fi. So, and working, it was a great idea to work to rent or whatever they charged the HMS Belfast. Because it did resemble the downstairs. It did resemble. It had all that metal and stuff. So
visually, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Is that your wife? Is she making you a drink?
My wife, she's getting her popcorn. She's wrestling, so I can't hear the question. Right. Are you out of here now? Where are you going? Partying in the background.
Yeah. And that will go out, and everybody will see that on YouTube. That'll be great. So we were just talking about the Sontaran thing. I think in terms of as a production as well, it works great because Kevin and obviously the other producers and writers, they cast people from the world of Doctor Who and the world of Blake 7 and put you all together in this brand new project. Yeah, it's good. I mean, what was it like working with Jan Chappell again?
No, it was great. It's funny enough, when you journey around YouTube or Google, I lighted on something, some criticism, and a number of people said they didn't like my portrayal of Kurt. It looked like I didn't want to be there. Well, that was my performance.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I didn't want to be there. It's because I think Kurt found it all a bit, you don't have to right, here we are. Now we're in a film and there could be Sontarans about. And, oh, look, I've fallen in love with that captain over there, Jan Chappell. Oh, dear. No, it's not like that.
You mentioned earlier on in this chat about kitchen sink drama, and one of the most sort of, I suppose you could class it as kitchen sink drama, but it's more of a soap opera, is EastEnders, which you worked on during the 90s. What are your memories of EastEnders?
Pretty good. It could be hairy at times, in as much that you could have a very busy day and you needed to know all your lines for that day. Say, I always use the example, I remember I had about 20 scenes all in my living room towards the end when he was drinking a lot. So they shoot all those in one day. Yeah. They don't shoot some one day, some the next. So if the storyline's on you, then you've got to. So to try to learn all those scenes and actually, what I say, you familiarise yourself with them and then worked on them in the camera rehearsal time. And it's another way of working, which you just have to push yourself to. But yeah, I mean, it could be difficult, but for the most part, it was okay. I asked a friend of mine who played Wendy's brother, because I played
Kathy's brother. Yeah,
Kathy's brother. Yeah.
Gillian Tailforth. Yeah.
Yeah, I played her brother, and Mike Atwell, who is a friend of mine and was a friend of mine, is no longer with us. But I said, "What's it like on EastEnders?" Because he'd been on there 6 months before, and he said, "I remember almost knowing my lines." It's because you're asked to do a lot in a very short time.
Yeah, it is. It is very much a. I hate to use the expression, but a factory process of turning it out.
Listen, if you've not had a good time in a scene and to your liking in your head, it could have gone better. And the words that you don't like to hear are "moving on."
Yeah.
Right, we're all in the Albert now. We're all in the pub, and we're not in the market anymore. And you think, oh well, it's going to go out like that.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Well, no, because the director and the producer, if they accept what you've given, whereas on a feature film, there's a little bit more intimacy with the director, and he'll come and say, if he's a decent director, say, did that work? I liked it a lot, but just tell me how you feel. And you could say, I think I could do it better if we just have a little pause before Ian smashes me on the nose.
Ian Beale, obviously, not me.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I want to ask you, actually, you've done a lot of TV and film in your career. What about your theatre? Have you done much theatre work?
Oh yeah. I mean, when I was a young man and never, it's a song there.
Yeah.
I was a young man and never. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, no, my formative years as a young actor. I mean, most actors in the top, as it were, top echelon, they either end up at the Royal Shakespeare Company or the Royal National Theatre.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up, because I like, for the want of a better word, kitchen sink reality. Yeah. I ended up at the Royal Court, where they do a lot of contemporary stuff.
Yes.
And I did a dozen plays between the sort of end of the 60s into the 80s at the Royal Court.
Okay.
No, I love being on stage, because that you're not beholden to. I don't say film directors or television directors get in your way, but once you've rehearsed something and you're up there, and what we call the rag, which is the curtain goes up, you're on your own. Yeah,
and no two nights are the same. There's always subtle differences in the performance, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always,
or not your performance. The other actors on stage, or the audience, because the way they receive a play, or a joke might work one night but not the next.
Well, the outside world comes into it. If I've got a payoff to a line, and somebody, like in pantomime, the famous one was, I'm playing the Emperor of China. Have you got prawn balls? And it's just the way I walk. But so if somebody coughs, they don't hear my line. Yeah. No, it's just the way I walk. So the outside world does come into it. If people haven't had a good day, or they've been working on a film and they're a bit tired, their responses in the play might be different.
Yeah.
So the outside world does come into it, and the outside world is the audience. If they're appreciative, or if it's school children, or if it's a matinee and there's a load of old girls in, it does affect the performance. So you've got to have a very keen, attuned ear and sensitivity to what's going on in the audience and with your fellow actors.
Hopefully, theatres will reopen. Hopefully this year, if not next year. Let's hope it's this year. And if the opportunity came to you to do some theatre, would you like to go back and do some theatre? And if so, is there
Have you read the play then? You know the play. Well, please, can I wear women's clothes? Please.
Feel free, absolutely.
No, in the play.
In the play. Oh, right. Yeah. Is there a character or a play that you'd like to really have a go at doing?
I've always been a great admirer of Harold Pinter's work, and
yes,
anything to do with Harold Pinter. But of course, they're all major parts, and as you get older, you sometimes are tired. Sometimes you can't remember the words as well as you did when you were, and also you think you've done your bit. You think you've done your bit and let somebody else do it. Although, I was speaking to Keith Baxter the other day, whose play I was in at the Vaudeville Theatre in the late 90s. And I actually called him on his birthday because Jill Gascoigne, who was in the play with us, had died that day. So I just gave him a call. But what did he say? He was something like 80-something. And he'd just been doing 3 parts in Hamlet, the gravedigger, the player king, and somebody else over in America.
Wow.
And I thought, at the age of 80-odd, he's still going. But you got to have the will to want to do it. And one's been in a lot of dross in one's life.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I try to avoid dross, but sometimes you have to pay the mortgage with dross money.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely.
So these days, I try to do stuff that I really, really have got some respect for, I'll possibly enjoy doing.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it now. So if somebody did, the last thing I think I did in the theatre was Snakes and Ladders by Eric Chappell with Paul Nicholas. We toured in and around the country. If somebody offered me something like that, or something that would interest me, I'd like to do it. Yeah. But no, I'm not shut down anything about anything. I'll do. You know me, I'm an old tarty and I'll go anywhere, do anything.
Indeed.
There's a penny or two involved.
Yeah, absolutely. But you just mentioned Harold Pinter. I think you would make, I can't remember the character's name, but it's the caretaker.
I got to go to the cap to get me papers.
Yes, you would make whatever that.
My name's Davies. Yes,
Davies. That's it. You would make a fantastic Davies. You really would.
A lot of not many words have come out. A lot of and grunting.
Yeah.
But
and there's your audition. The part's yours.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Let's come back to Blake 7. Where does it stand for you in your career? Is it was just a job I did for a year? It wasn't even a year. Or do you remember it more than that? Is it more than just a job to you?
Are you trying to prime me to say it was the worst job? It was a dross job.
Not at all. Not at all.
No. It was something I was pleased and proud to do. And it was one of those, I don't know, it's one of those jobs that you have to travel a long way to realize.
Yeah.
And when I say realize, it's the end product, because you have to put on funny clothes and funny stuff and talk in funny language. Alpha 5 is coming in now, and we should sidewind the bender, and then please press the button now, and you just think, it's like the washing machine. Press the button now. No, we don't. But you have to suspend a lot of belief.
Yes.
To realise the whole thing.
One of your many, many lines that I remember is the word.
The word. Yeah. Who was I saying that to? Who was it? I forget.
Well, we did last year, didn't we? We did a sort of commentary to it, didn't we? At an event for that episode. Do you remember?
Yeah, I can't remember who I was saying the word to. which of the crew was it?
Michael. No, it wasn't Michael. Sorry, we were with Michael when we were watching the episode together. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it was to Michael. It was to him.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was to Villa. Yeah.
The word. Yeah.
The word. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favourite lines was, "It's all a great grand illusion, Blake." In one of the early episodes, I think coming down the staircase, the fire escape from this big building, something to do with that. It's all a grand illusion, and that's what sci-fi is. It's a grand illusion.
Yeah.
It's almost. Don't get me wrong, because you're all going to go, oh, that's what he thinks about sci-fi. It's almost like pantomime. Do you know what I mean? Because it's you have to, but it's sort of one-dimensional, because you don't see him kissing, you don't see him going to the toilet, you don't see him crying their eyes out.
Yeah.
You don't see any emotions other than, I fucking hate you, I'm going to kill you. oh, no. Do you know what I mean?
I can't, yeah.
It's sort of, but there we are. That's only my opinion, and for what it's worth, it's just my opinion. Okay.
You mentioned your blog earlier on, that you've been writing a daily blog, and you're also on Instagram.
Well, that's where you can get onto it. You go onto Instagram. Yeah. I'm Brian Croucher.Brian, I think.
Yep.
You get me on Instagram, and then you press on actovirus.org, and all my blog will come up. All about 50 of them of late now.
So
any of them?
I've read a couple, but I'm sure a lot of the fans who are watching this will head over to your Instagram and then to your blog. But I suppose I need to ask you, what is the picture about stinging nettles? What's all that about?
Well, it's, that's where I go for my walk. I walk down to the cemetery. I walk around the cemetery and around the church twice, and then up the lane and back to my house. It's my bit of, but there is a bit of a lane where you can't walk down there in shorts, because the nettles will get you. But it's the whole idea. Oh, come on, Ian, you're not that. You might come from Cheltenham, but you're not that silly. If the virus doesn't get you, then the stinging nettles will. It's just my humour.
Yeah, absolutely. I could speak, Brian, I could speak to you for hours and hours and hours. It's always a joy. It's always hilarious catching up with you.
You're going to come now, eh?
So, yeah. Is there anything that you'd like to say to Blake 7 fans who are watching this video?
Well, it's always nice to see you, all you lot out there, and you travel from afar. So some of you travelled down from Scotland, from Newcastle, up from Devon and Cornwall. It's always nice to see you, and it's much appreciated. I mean, that you still want to celebrate the work that we've we've done with Blake Seven and Doctor Who and the Quatermass Experiment, Shakedown. Mind you, I've been in a lot of sci-fi. I wonder. I wasn't a great fan of it, and I didn't think I was very good at it. But they still kept asking me back. I don't know why, but maybe it was because I didn't ask for a lot of pennies, just a few. Yeah. No, but it's always great to see you all out there, and I just hope that you're all enjoying the. I haven't followed it, although I did see 1 or 2 episodes, and I thought it had moved on a great deal. Doctor Who, moved on a great deal, as has Star Wars. I clicked onto Star Wars on something one afternoon or evening, and that has got a lot more to it, a lot more production value. But it's I hope this is. I hope I've said something new, because you always find yourself going around in circles, being all asked the same questions, and not that you have, Ian, but I mean because we've done it quite a lot. We've been around the block a few times. It's always difficult to. But I don't think I've been as honest as I have this time, saying I found it a little bit difficult. I've never admitted that before.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that with us all today. Is there? I'm asking everybody who's watching these videos across the Bank Holiday Monday and beyond, because they'll still be on YouTube, to make a small donation to a charity. So, would you like to choose a charity, Brian?
Seeing as I'm an old person, and I'm lucky to have my faculties, all of them.
Yeah.
What? What did you say? I can't see you. Where you gone? I like some money to be sent to the Alzheimer's Society.
Okay, I will put a link to the Alzheimer's charity on the description to this video. Brian, it's been lovely chatting with you. Stay safe and take care, and hopefully we will all see you soon at an event somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, and will you send me a link to the YouTube thing? Because there's a couple of people that I've spoken to. They said, "Oh, I'd like to have a look at that."
Definitely, yeah.
Because you could be going around in circles on YouTube, not finding what you want.
Absolutely.
All right, Ian.
Cheers.
Nice to see your smiling face.
Likewise.
And we'll meet again. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again. One happy day. Boom, 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 boom.